If there's one company out there that makes quality coasters, it's B&M. B&M's rides are featured at parks all around the globe. Their coasters are thrilling, smooth, and easily recognizable. Parks understand the value of building a B&M coaster. They are fantastic rides that bring in the crowds, and they are super duper reliable. Since B&M has such a quality product, they don't have to take many risks. There will always be a market for their inverted coasters, hypercoasters, and wing coasters because they are awesome. However, within the last 2 years, B&M is changing, and it's very obvious. Dare I say, B&M is evolving into something brand new. Well, why would I say this? Well, if we take a look at the last couple B&M coasters that were announced, we start to see a very interesting pattern. Busch Gardens Tampa is getting a suspended family coaster. SeaWorld Orlando is getting a prototype family launch coaster. And Dorney Park is getting a weird B&M dive coaster that features a very different layout than your typical one. These are all odd choices, not something that you would typically think of when you think of B&M. Maybe you would think of a dive coaster, but not necessarily one that looks like this. Maybe you'd think of an invert, but not one that is like this. And then maybe you would think of some type of launch coaster, but I wasn't expecting that one. If we take it back a little further to the year prior, we saw Pipeline the Surf Coaster, which is a revolutionary new type of stand-up experience on a coaster. If you've ridden Pipeline, you know what I'm talking about. It's completely different to anything we have seen before. If we look at a coaster like Pipeline, what makes it unique? Well, the thing that makes it really stand out is the train. This new and improved train design really improves the stand-up coaster experience and elevates it to a level which it didn't reach before. If you look at SeaWorld Orlando's next coaster, this Penguin Trek ride, the train is also something different. We haven't seen a train like this tried by B&M, so it's going to be very interesting to see. B&M's family invert models, or the suspended model as they call it, also features different trains. 1, it's 2 across, 2, it features a semi-lap bar thingy, and then 3, it's just a very different layout. As for Iron Menace, the trains aren't really new. I mean, they're 7 across, which is kinda different, and they have the vest, but overall we've seen that before. The layout is what's different. Instead of going up into a turnaround, this thing just starts with the lift and then the dive element. Let's go back to 2023 for a second. What other ride opened up that year? Well, Mandrill Mayhem. This revolutionary new first of its kind B&M winged shuttle launch coaster is a very different experience than traditional B&Ms. And what is the final B&M coaster to open in 2023? Well, the Legoland inverting wing coaster. That's made for families. These 3 alone that opened in 2023, Pipeline, the Legoland coaster, and Mandrill Mayhem, are very odd and further prove my point that B&M is evolving. Their new rides are kinda strange, but pretty cool. So if the past is any indication of the future, what can we expect to see from B&M? Before the surf coaster was even a rumor, no one expected B&M to do a new type of stand-up coaster. So maybe now we can predict what's going to happen in the future. So what type of new developments in new coaster technology is B&M going to come out with? I don't see any reason that they would stop. So we looked at the trains earlier. The trains were a big part of what exactly is changing. Can they take this any further? A little while ago, we also saw that the bounce technology used in Pipeline was put in a patent for a sit-down coaster, that would do the same thing, enhance the airtime. Obviously, they could use this in new family coasters like they've been doing lately, but I think they could do something cooler. Imagine this technology on a hypercoaster. I know, that is pretty cool to think about. It would make those airtime hills seem even more powerful. Not only would you rise out of the seat would rise out. So it's like a double move up experience. So pretty wild to think about. Now that's not super likely as of yet. You have to remember that Pipeline took a long time to develop. So whatever this is, probably gonna take a while too. But let's talk about Pipeline for a second. Pipeline the Surf Coaster was truly revolutionary. I know I've said that so many times in the video, but revolutionary is the word to describe it. It took a ride hated by most people, the average stand-up coaster, and made it awesome. So I definitely think we will see more of these in the future. Now, with these newer surf coaster models, I think they will be a lot more intense and have bigger elements. I think it would be awesome to see this technology used on bigger coasters, taller, faster, and longer. But we'll just have to wait and see. Another option for B&M would be to try some type of 4D coaster or some type of spinning coaster. Every company's done a spinning coaster, so why hasn't B&M? Well, the time is now. Since B&M is on this craze of making new types of coasters or enhancements to their previous coasters, I could definitely see them trying some type of spinning coaster or some type of 4D coaster very soon. Imagine you're a park and you see two options. A 4D coaster by Intamin for, let's just say, $20 million, and you see a 4D coaster by B&M for $20 million. If you were a park, which one would you buy and why? Okay, now write the essay 600 words. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. What would you buy? Well, obviously you would choose the B&M, and the reason is because of reliability. All of B&M's coasters are reliable, and from what I've heard, the surf coaster is already pretty reliable. I haven't seen that close much lately at the park. With B&M's flawless safety record and B&M's reliability, it is no wonder that they are preferred by so many parks around the globe. So where would we see these coasters? I have one word and one word only: SeaWorld. Yes, technically SeaWorld is one word, and I'm not talking about the SeaWorld park, but more specifically the SeaWorld Entertainment chain. SeaWorld Entertainment already has 3 prototypes by B&M: Pipeline, this new family ride at SeaWorld Orlando, and then Phoenix Rising, which, even though there's already 2 family suspended coasters, this one is very different, and it's not like they've done a bunch, so I consider that a prototype. And when I say the word prototype, it is very different for each company. When there's an Intamin prototype, there is a high chance that there are going to be some mechanical issues with the ride, but probably it's going to work fine. When you say a Skyline Attractions prototype, the ride will die. Okay, I'm just kidding. Obviously, Skyline Attractions has gotten a lot better. Their new Spaghetti Bowl coaster looks awesome, but no one can forgive the Skywarp, that original thing. Oh my goodness. And if somehow someone from Skyline Attractions is watching this, I'm obviously joking. I do not hate your products. And what I'm getting to is a prototype by B&M is way less risky than a prototype by other companies. B&M has that track record, and until they prove me wrong, I think B&M's rides are very reliable. So parks can be a little bit less on their guard when they buy a B&M coaster. So B&M has evolved into something very different. They are producing new and improved types of coasters. They are improving their original designs as well as creating brand new ones. This is awesome to see. And as I mentioned, you can kind of tell through the layouts of some of these coasters that they're taking more risks. Drops are getting steeper, the layouts are getting more untraditional, all that jazz. And also, we should mention that some of these newer rides are probably a bit cheaper than other coasters by B&M. The family inverted coaster uses a lot less track than the regular inverted coaster, obviously because it's only 2 across instead of 4 across. And the same thing goes with the new ride coming to SeaWorld. It's only 2 across, so it uses less track. It can use sort of a thinner track. Now, I would assume this makes it cheaper, 1, because it's a family coaster, and 2, because it does indeed use less steel because the track dimensions are a bit thinner. And one last thing, I noticed when I was researching for this video that B&M produces an average of 3 coasters per year. In 2022, 3 opened up, in 2023 they made 3, and in 2024 we are getting 3 more. So maybe we can use this in the future to maybe predict what B&Ms are going to be added to parks. Who knows? I don't necessarily know if this is a trend, but they at least do 2 a year, so I think that's worth taking note. So those are my thoughts on how B&M is evolving. They are creating new rides, they are taking chances, and who knows where they are going to be in only a few years. I also predict we will see another surf coaster very soon. That ride is awesome. So those are just some of my thoughts on B&M and how they are evolving. If you have a comment, please leave it below. I read every single one of them. I heart every single one of them, and I enjoy, talking to you guys. Also, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you want to see more content like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. This is The Coaster Josh, signing out.